On Lucci's group's side, they have seen the Sunny ship, so he decides to destroy this ship. Kaku says he will deal with it with one blow, while Zoro is sleeping on the ship, and Brook is in the kitchen tidying up. Thus, Kaku immediately unleashes a very powerful blow at Sunny, but Zoro immediately wakes up, and he counters his attack, surprising them. Zoro says, "Who dares to disturb my sleep?" Brook realizes they are CP0. Kaku becomes angry when he sees Zoro. Zoro remembers he had defeated him at Eni's lobby. At this moment, Kaku decides to deal with Zoro, but Zoro says, "Who dares to destroy this ship? Then, I will cut him down." On Pythagoras' side, he has reactivated the defense system, but he realizes that CP0 has managed to get inside. Shaka sees them confronting Zoro, making Shaka worried, because they want to destroy the Sunny ship, while Zoro is fighting Kaku. Pythagoras suggests calling someone to help Zoro. Suddenly, Lilith feels very excited, because she wants to fight CP0. On Luffy's side, they are searching for Bonnie, because they have lost track of her. Suddenly, Luffy sees Nami's group, making them very happy. At this moment, Sanji says they already know everything. Luffy fighting CP0, and also agreeing to let Vegapunk board the ship. Nami says they need to quickly get Vegapunk out of here, making Luffy disappointed, because he hasn't explored the entire island yet, but Nami says CP0 is still searching for them. Suddenly, Luffy remembers Bonnie and tells them. Bonnie wants to kill Vegapunk, shocking everyone, but they discover that Vegapunk is also missing, making Nami worried. On Vegapunk's side, he is being pursued by Bonnie, making him afraid. While Bonnie is very angry, Vegapunk tells her to listen to what he has to say, but Bonnie continues to attack Vegapunk, because she wants Vegapunk to restore her father back to normal. However, Vegapunk says he can't do it, making Bonnie even more angry. She is determined to kill Vegapunk, so Bonnie knocked Vegapunk down to the basement, seeing Bonnie very resentful of herself, making Vegapunk worried, and Vegapunk remembered when he used to save Bonnie, then, his experiment was successful. Thus, he sees this as the first great step towards world peace. At this moment, Bonnie pretended to fall and transformed back into a child, seeing Bonnie crying, making Vegapunk worried, and trying to treat Bonnie's injuries, but Bonnie immediately reverted back to normal. Turns out she just wanted to lure Vegapunk closer to her, so she continued to attack Vegapunk, and Bonnie used the power of her devil fruit, turning Vegapunk into a child. At this point, Bonnie asked Vegapunk why he did that to her father, but Vegapunk didn't want to speak, because saying it would hurt Bonnie's feelings, and he also made a promise to Kuma. On Kuma's side, he's trying to climb over the gates of the Red Line, even though he was very seriously injured, while Bonnie was very angry, because Vegapunk refused to tell her. He said that Kuma's abandonment of his humanity was a decision made by Kuma himself, but Bonnie didn't believe it, because he would never abandon her, while the Navy was still blocking Kuma. However, Kuma was determined to pass through this gate. At this moment, Vegapunk said he was very proud because Kuma was his friend, and he also valued Kuma greatly, so he couldn't reveal this secret to Bonnie, but it made Bonnie even angrier. Suddenly, Bonnie saw a locked room. When she approached to see the room, Vegapunk immediately tried to stop Bonnie, and said that the room had nothing to do with Kuma, but Bonnie felt this room was related to her father, so she broke the lock, and opened the door to the room. When Bonnie stepped inside, it immediately surprised her, because this place held Kuma's memories. On another side, Kid's pirate crew arrived at a strange sea area. Suddenly, they spotted an island, so Kid decided to advance towards that island. Suddenly, Killer realized that this island was the homeland of the giant tribe. On Garp's side, they were planning to advance towards the territory of the four emperors, causing great concern among his subordinates, because he hadn't informed the Navy headquarters about this. Meanwhile, Helmeppo was worried about Kobe, as he had been captured by Blackbeard. Suddenly, Garp called Helmeppo outside. It turned out he wanted to lead them to the base of Blackbeard to rescue Kobe. This made Helmeppo very happy. At this moment, Bonnie discovered Vegapunk's secret room, where Kuma's memories are stored. Despite Vegapunk's attempts to deceive Bonnie, he said this place has nothing to do with Kuma. But Bonnie still didn't believe. Vegapunk remembered when he was researching Kuma's paw. He realized that the human soul exists, because when humans die, they lose 0.74 ounces of weight, so he thought that was the weight of the soul, but Kuma didn't understand anything. Vegapunk explained that this is similar to Kuma's power, because it can transfer the pain from one person to another, so he thought Kuma's power could also affect memories. He was excited to study it. Now, Vegapunk tried to stop Bonnie, because it would make her feel very lonely. It might even kill her. But Bonnie still stepped forward. Vegapunk remembered Kuma had once refused, because he felt ashamed to let others see his memories. But Vegapunk still tried to persuade Kuma. On Zoro's side, he was still fighting Kaku. Zoro kept attacking him, but he managed to block Zoro's attacks every time. At this point, Kaku had also attained a new level of power, so he transformed into the awakened form of his devil fruit, which made Brook worried. Suddenly, Stussy told Lucci that she had a way to capture Vegapunk, while Nami was surprised, because Lucci's group had infiltrated here. Shaka said it was due to a system error, making even Frankie surprised. A genius like Vegapunk also made mistakes. Robin and Jimbei also found dealing with CP0 not easy. Suddenly, Stussy called Seraphim over. While Usopp was still confident that Zoro would win, but when he saw Seraphim fully assembled, it made him worried, because the enemy side had up to 7 people, while Zoro's side only had 2 people. But Lucci didn't understand why Stussy called Seraphim over, because they might lose control of Seraphim once again. At this moment, Shaka realized Seraphim coming here will be an advantage for them, making Nami's group confused. So, Shaka explained, the control authority of Seraphim by the Vegapunks is higher than CP0's. While Vegapunk was trying to prevent Bonnie, Kuma is still trying to find a way to get to Egghead, despite constantly being attacked by the Navy. But Kuma still doesn't give up. Suddenly, they shot Kuma down, so they immediately surrounded him. Unexpectedly, Kuma stood up and immediately fought back against them with a powerful blow, while Bonnie realized this must be her father's memory. At this moment, Kuma is very exhausted and in pain, while Shaka thinks they can regain control of Seraphim, making Edison and Lilith very excited. So, they immediately ran off to give orders to Seraphim. But Usopp realized that Zoro was in danger, because he was being held back by 7 people, until Vegapunk gained control of Seraphim. Thus, Frankie immediately went to help him. Suddenly, Nami told Sanji to go help Zoro, so he happily ran off, because Sanji helps like Seraphim too, only listening to the orders of Nami and Robin. On Kaku's side, he is transforming into his awakened form. It turns out he has been waiting for this moment, to take revenge on Zoro, surprising Zoro and Brook. Zoro said, even though you've changed a bit, I'll still defeat you. So, Kaku immediately attacks Zoro. He even used Haki on his nose, and kept pushing Zoro back. But Zoro had already become tired of Kaido's zoo in Wano, so he's no longer interested in fighting Kaku. Zoro immediately delivers a powerful blow, knocking Kaku to the ground. Lucci sees that Kaku is at a disadvantage, so he immediately orders Seraphim to destroy this place. Now, the Seraphim had begun to act, making Shaka worried. While S-Hawk is moving very quickly, S-Snake and S-Shark are preparing to shoot lasers. S-Bear utilizes Kuma's abilities, making Usopp's group very worried, because they know Seraphim is very strong. So, Shaka immediately urges Edison and Lilith, but Seraphim has already launched their joint attack, causing Vegapunk's research institute to begin collapsing, making Brook very worried. At this moment, Kaku warns Zoro that they won't be able to win, seeing Seraphim continuously attacking, making him very excited. Zoro felt anxious. Seraphim continues to attack the research institute, putting Nami's group in grave danger, because everything inside begins to collapse. While Lucci and Kaku are very satisfied, suddenly, Stussy began to act. She immediately rushed over to bite Kaku's neck, making him very surprised. Unexpectedly, Kaku immediately fainted. At this moment, Lucci doesn't understand, why did Stussy do that? Stussy said, you should go to sleep too. It turns out she is the first clone of Buckingham Stussy, a member of the Rocks Pirates, created in Vegapunk's Mads laboratory. At this moment, Lucci realizes that Stussy has betrayed CP0, so he immediately attacks Stussy. Lucci thought he had defeated her. Unexpectedly, it was only a clone of Stussy. Then, Stussy captured Lucci. He realizes that her lipstick is made of sea stone. Stussy immediately bites Lucci's neck, causing Lucci to faint. Thus, Stussy defeats them, leaving Zoro confused about what's happening. Seeing Lucci and Kaku both defeated by Stussy, surprising Brook, he also doesn't understand what's happening. Zoro asks Stussy, what are you doing? Stussy tells Zoro, you don't need to worry, it turns out she knows all the information about the Straw Hat Pirates. Zoro thinks internally that there might be conflict within their group, but Stussy says she has her own agenda, however, she won't harm them. While Zoro remains very cautious of Stussy, because she betrayed her own teammates. Suddenly, Stussy informs Shaka that the mission is complete. Lilith and Edison think she doesn't need to show up, surprising Usopp's group, because they don't know what's happening. Seeing Stussy is very dangerous, making them worried about Zoro and Brook. At this point, Robin asks her who she is, so Shaka tells them, even though it's been 20 years, but Stussy is their ally, surprising Usopp's group, because Vegapunk has planted spies in the world government. Suddenly, Stussy announces, she cannot stop Seraphim, because her authority is equal to Lucci's, she cannot override his orders. While the Seraphim continue to attack the research institute, Edison and Lilith try to run as fast as possible to stop them. At this moment, Zoro and Brook also try to find a way to stop the Seraphim. They realize that Seraphim are all similar to the 7 warlords of the sea. Zoro pays the most attention to S-Hawk. He keeps attacking the research institute, making Nami's group worried. While Lilith is very angry, she just got outside, so she immediately orders Seraphim to stop. Unexpectedly, S-Hawk still attacks Lilith, surprising her, but Lilith doesn't react in time. Luckily, Zoro managed to stop S-Hawk, and Zoro immediately ran to attack him. S-Hawk realizes that Zoro is very strong. At this moment, Zoro realizes that S-Hawk is conscious, so he asks, "Who are you?" Meanwhile, Lilith is trembling in fear and crying, because heaven has rejected her. Edison also tries to give orders to Seraphim. Suddenly, they attack him, creating an explosion that makes Lilith fall down. Luckily, Frankie managed to save her, while Lilith worries about Edison. But Sanji also managed to save him, making Lilith very relieved. Suddenly, the Seraphim started to stop fighting, so Zoro also sheathed his sword back into the scabbard. At this point, they are still wondering who these Seraphim are. Thus, Lilith explains, they are warriors she is very proud of, and now the Seraphim won't attack them anymore, because her authority to give orders is higher than CP0's. Sanji immediately teases Zoro, because he doesn't understand anything, so both of them start fighting, and Frankie tells Brook about it. Now, their task is to help Vegapunk leave this island. While Nami's group is also relieved, because Seraphim are no longer their enemies. On Stussy's side, she used Sea Stone to handcuff Kaku and Lucci, to neutralize their devil fruit abilities. At this moment, Shaka told Stussy to go with them, so she agreed, making Sanji very excited, because there will be another beautiful girl on their ship. On Luffy and Chopper's side, they are still searching for Bonnie and Vegapunk, but they couldn't find them anywhere. At this moment, in Whitebeard's homeland, Marco has returned. That makes everyone feel relieved, because Marines had previously come here. They inform Marco about it. Marines came here to seize Whitebeard's treasure, and they are no different from pirates. The kids recounted a few days ago. Marines attacked the village, and they threatened the villagers, because this village is not under the jurisdiction of the world government. The villagers will not be protected by the law, and they forced the villagers to hand over Whitebeard's treasure to them. Even though the villagers claimed they knew nothing about the treasure, the Marines still didn't believe them, so they threatened to shoot them. Even the Marines showed no mercy to the elderly and children. Suddenly, someone arrived and attacked the Marine commander, sending him flying into the cliff. It turns out he is Edward Weevil, who claims to be Whitebeard's son. That made the Marines scared and run away. When Marco hears the whole story, then he feels relieved. Suddenly, an old woman came to find Marco. She said that Admiral Ryokugayu had arrived here later, and they took Weevil away, making her very angry. It turns out she is Buckingham Stussy, once a member of the Rocks Pirates. She demands that Marco return Weevil to her, but Marco doesn't believe Weevil is Whitebeard's son, so she says there is someone who can prove it, that is Dr. Vegapunk. On Kizaru's side, they are still advancing toward Egghead Island. Unexpectedly, a member of the 5 Elder Stars is also here, causing Kizaru to have to serve tea for him personally. At this moment, Kizaru is also very surprised that Vegapunk has betrayed the world government. It turns out he is Saturn, one of the top figures of the world government. Today's video ends here. Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support Oni-chan in the next videos. Thank you for watching. Love you all.